through the little principles that we've been going over. Same with some of the stuff we've been doing with guys who train on Sunday with me. Just take that. Notice that people have been implementing this, it really was evident yesterday, the difference it's making. Okay? Discussed before, a lot of people are sharp enough to know not to do this when somebody's mounting it because of the risk of having their arms trapped or being paid for an arm bar. So very often what happens is the elbow's staying here, the hand's staying tight, but the other person's got more of a free rein attacking still. So what we're looking at doing is getting the elbows wedged on the inside of the knees. So as I said, if I feel that I need to get Rob down more to my hips, I'd shuffle out, I'd press to his legs, shuffle out. And even before I get anywhere, if I can pop that in, and I do this a similar thing to what I'd do if I was breaking his guard. The elbow goes in and the hand stays on the outside. I don't want to put this in here for the risk of him stepping, pinning that, stepping and going for a mount of triangle. So I do this. So as I get this in, that's my indication. I'm going to turn to face that way, but I'm looking to escape that way. Just to turn here is not easy. So what I've got to try and do is catch a bounce, bridge up out the ground to take Rob up. And while his weight's leaving me and elevating, that's when I start to make the next direction. Very often you can get to here, you'll go bridge, back down, and then you try and turn and the guy's still watching because they've followed the movement that you go. So what we're looking at trying to create here is to get this elbow in, to bridge up and immediately on your side. Now this is one thing that I noticed yesterday some of the guys were missing. Even from here up, I can bump Rob to send him further up. That takes more weight off my hips. Look how I can move now and open this space up. So when I first did the bridging turn, so I got to here and I bumped and I got to that, Rob's still in quite a good position. He can grip with his legs here. Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to get this leg through. That's doing the job. So I'm going to bump and escape again. Now my knee's on the inside of his leg on the floor. So now I can start and create space. Yeah, and even from here, pass up, come straight over. It's about creating the space to get out. If you've got a heavier opponent, they're going to try and ride your movement. So if you're only giving one direction at a time, you're making that job easy for your opponent. If they've got reasonable reactions and they're relaxed, okay? When you get against an inexperienced person or somebody who's rushing, they're quite tense. So when you bridge, you get a good reaction with them. But the guy who's relaxed, who tries to absorb your movement, is a lot easier to get rid of. And the thing that I've noticed over the past few months is, I call it a knee bump, but you hit him more with the thigh. Creating that other direction while the person's dealing with another movement. And it's hard to deal with. If somebody's going up that way, posting on your leg that way, moving the hips that way, which one do you deal with first? Because even if you get rid of the arm that's inside your knee, the hips have already gone back. And if that knee comes through and just hits the floor, mount has gone. That position's no longer. So you've got to be reactive. So it's a real subtle little thing, but it's something like when the guys were doing it yesterday, we're doing a 2-minute round, and and it was to a specific point, the reversal or the guy getting a submission. I don't think anybody got a submission, and the majority of the time, people were getting out of this position in 30 seconds, thereabouts. Which I know 30 seconds of having somebody on mounting is a long time. But it just proves that at one time of the day, you could be stuck there for the full 2 minutes. You might not get subbed, you ain't got out of that position. You've been at threat and at risk all the time. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. So it's putting multiple directions together. So again, from here, in this position, so I'll get up to here, arm staying tight, but when I bring this elbow in, I need my arm on the outside. See, the thing is, Rob might go to grab that to pull it out, and if he does, I can grab that. So if I go 1, 2 and grab his belt, even though he's got my sleeve, he hasn't got a post that way then. So as you start to recognise those little things, instead of thinking, right, it's just that and do this, but the person's grabbing the arm, if they grab your sleeve and you can grab their sleeve, that post, that base for them is stuck. So just bear that in mind. So as I come out, and I mean bumping up straight away, he's still looking at gripping. So I'm bumping forwards and pushing away. So what I've done with Rob there is, I've sent him this way, and And as his weight comes off my hips, I can move my hips out. Now I can very quickly pull here, spin out. I just reach through, grab the belt, and gone. Because if somebody's up here with their hands on the floor, they haven't got their full body weight on you. If anything, the best they can hope for is 50-50. So if you set them and they've had to base hard, that's the time to be going another way. Not basing them and wait to see how they react. And I know it sounds easier than it is. When something's new to you, you have to go through it in a conscious thought pattern. That takes time because you're actually thinking of each step. You're not just doing each step. You're not overlapping each step. So if you look at all of you, just a basic hip escape, right at the very beginning from side control, how difficult was that when you first started? You know, most people are just trying to turn into the person, not really getting anywhere. Unless the person is giving you space to use. So think of this knee bump. Get the elbow in, palm the thigh, escape out a bit, and let your partner just clamp up a little bit. I want you to feel what happens, what you create, just with this. It's a subtle little move. And I'm just shunting you. You know, it's not a strike, but it's not a light push. It's a bit of both. You can't do it's that thing. Just shunting away from you. And you'll feel the weight go. The moment it does, just get your hips again. Bring your knee through, bring your other knee through. Come back to butterfly guard. Look at getting out of the gap that you created. If you can create a good bump, especially if you've got a picture, as you're on your back here, if this is in, you can keep the person away from you on this. So as you bump them, their hips are up here. This high out the ground, that's a big space. Let's say you could reach under, grab the belt, hoist the person that way, come out still holding the belt, look for the back straight away. You've got a lot of options, which creating that. And I think the thing with mount is a big psychological thing that you know yourself. If you don't deal with it effectively, you're going to tire quickly. And if you've got a guy who's got good tactics of, right, I've got to weather the storm, and then I can do what I want to do. So you kind of stuck, there's a big psychological step both ways. But this very quickly, I'm talking to Rob about it today. From feeling comfortable in mount, feeling like, yeah, I'm getting this and holding the position, now people get this elbow and things like that. It's gone quickly again, hasn't it? Doesn't mean it's any less to go for, by all means go for it. Because it'll help you be more decisive of what your submission's going to be. Just have a play with that. Get that elbow, shunting down, elbow in, up for the bridge. Again, when you do that initial one, as you get the elbow in, I'm going to try and extend here, shove the hips out at the same time. And then I'm going to bump, or I might even throw my hips up in the air. So I might go bump here, and then bump it. So I do two. Almost like throwing the ball up to serve it. So I get his weight out the ground, and then I give him another direction. So his hips are going up, and as they're coming down, he gets sent that way. You're expecting landing in a certain place, and realise as you're coming down you're not there, there's a little bit of panic sets in because you know you're not going to have the control when you land again. Okay? Let's have a play about that, please.